Hello, this is Parents at the Parks. I'm Devin.
And I'm Tim, and we took our kids to every character meal at Disney World, and we ranked them from the worst to the best to help you decide which is the best one for your family's Disney vacation.
And we think that the results might surprise you.
So let's get straight to the worst character meal. Ohana.
You might be surprised if you've ever tried to get a reservation here, because Ohana is often in high demand, in part because the character meal is only available for breakfast. But if you miss out on that reservation, we're here to tell you that you aren't missing a whole lot. Now obviously character meals involve a subjective element of your family's favorite movies and characters. If your kid loves Lilo and Stitch, well then of course Ohana is actually the best option for you. While Stitch does meet guests at Magic Kingdom, Lilo's not available to meet anywhere else but at Ohana. So this is a great opportunity to meet them both and to see them jam to their favorite tunes, alongside Mickey and Pluto, who are available to meet at many locations. But aside from those specific characters, the experience falls short in just about every other way. The breakfast menu is uninspired. Ham with pineapple isn't exactly exotic. Where is the loco moco, Portuguese sausage and eggs, or even Spam? Authentic Hawaiian dishes would elevate this menu to a truly themed meal. There is the famous pineapple coconut bread, which to us simply tasted like Parker House rolls with some pineapple on them. It's not bad, it's mostly just confusing as to why this is a thing. The restaurant itself is very beautiful, as is the whole Polynesian resort, but we do not feel like we got to experience Polynesian cuisine. We just paid a high price for a basic breakfast with little variety. Family-style meals like this, where everything on the menu is brought to your table, do have a positive factor in that they are all you care to eat, while allowing you to remain at the table with your kids the whole time and not worry about getting up to get food and missing a character or some other moment. But it is unfortunate if it comes at the cost of making the meal so simple so that even the pickiest of eaters are happy. We would rather just do a buffet, where there are both safe options and more adventurous ones to please everybody, especially when you consider that some of those other character meals that are buffets are actually cheaper than Ohana. The character experience is also disappointing. All character meals have the standard meet and greets, where the characters come around to your table, but they also have an extra activity, like special ceremonies, or dances, or a parade. In Ohana, the characters do a parade with musical instruments. It sounds great, but you should be aware that in the years before the COVID shutdown, children were invited to follow along with the characters and even use the instruments themselves. This interactivity was never brought back. Our daughter would have loved to join the parade, and we're sure many of your kids would too. It would create such a magical moment for everyone. We don't know why Disney has decided to suck so much of the fun out of Ohana, but we sure hope they put it back so that it can get off the bottom of the rankings. Because ultimately, this list is going to reflect that as parents, we know how important it is to you for your kids to have the most magical experience possible at Disney World. And if you want more family-focused Disney content, be sure to show your support and hit that subscribe button.
And now to the next restaurant on the list. Brace yourselves. Garden Grill. This may come as another surprise, as some food blogs out there will tell you that this is one of the best character meals. But we're not really sure why. Maybe they are dazzled by the fact that this is a moving restaurant, and it does look down into the ride, Living with the Land. But we're here to tell you that the novelty of this slow rotation is the only thing that actually keeps this restaurant from being the worst, because it otherwise has many of the same flaws as Ohana. Like Ohana, it's also a family-style meal, and again, this comes with a rather boring menu. Now, Garden Grill does get some extra points for having a special dessert just for kiddos, and we do love to see that. But otherwise, you are again paying a high price tag for fine but unremarkable food. Now, I know what you're saying. Devin, this is a character meal. It's not about the food. You're paying to meet the characters. I know. But to that, I'd say Garden Grill is also the worst value when it comes to the characters. Previously, we mentioned that all character meals have a bonus character activity, but there's actually an exception to that rule, and it's, drumroll please, Garden Grill. The characters here only do the standard meet and greet. There are no parades, no dancing, no special ceremonies, and as parents we feel that those bonus elements are important to a character meal. A, because of the price, it's really expensive, and B, because some kids like our son Ian are shy about meeting characters. But when the characters dance around being silly or the whole room is enjoying an activity together, it creates a memorable and fun atmosphere that everyone attending gets to experience. This atmosphere does not exist at Garden Grill. Combine that with the fact that Chip and Dale are supposed to be the unique characters at this meal, but Chip and Dale are not dressed up, and they're easy to meet and available at every single other park. And if you go to Fort Wilderness, you can even play games and dance with them for free. Mickey and Pluto are the other characters here, and while Mickey has a really cute farmer's outfit on, Pluto is just wearing a handkerchief tied to his neck. You can kind of see it sometimes from just the right angle, but I'd hardly call it a costume. So let's do some quick math. Subtract the underwhelming food from the underwhelming character experience, and you're left with just the view. The restaurant itself has no decor, so it's just what you can see as you spin around. It takes over an hour to go all the way around, so how much you see depends on how long you want to be there. And to be honest, while sitting and eating, you don't actually see Living with the Land very well, unless you physically get up and walk over to the railing and look down, which is not a great option for little kids. And at that point, you might as well just go ride the ride. We promise you everything looks better from down there. You only see the ride for part of your meal. For the rest of the time, you see this wall painted with leaves on it, or these people walking by, probably walking to a better character meal.
Such as 1900 Park Fare, which comes in at number 10. This is the first buffet on our list, and it does have a nice variety of food, including some themed dishes like Tiana's Gumbo, considering she is a character you can meet here. It is also the home of strawberry soup, which some food blogs out there would tell you that it is a must-try dish. We're here to tell you, absolutely do not come to 1900 Park Fare just to try strawberry soup. Our 4-year-old daughter was the first to try it, and her review was,
Tastes like yogurt?
This is essentially true. It is a yogurt smoothie poured into a bowl. Yes, it tastes good, but why anyone would consider that special is a mystery to us. But otherwise, yes, good variety, and that includes the characters as well. Believe it or not, but this is the only character meal where you can meet a prince and a princess, though it should be noted that none of these characters are unique and they can all be met at the nearby Magic Kingdom. There is a special wish-making ceremony here, and it is fun to think of a wish and write it down and wave it in the sky with everyone, but probably not the best activity if you have little ones compared to some of the other character meal experiences. This wish-making is the theme of the meal, and that is the weakest aspect of 1900 Park Fare. Disney World is a theme park, and we go in part for the wonderfully detailed theming that the Imagineers can dream up. Now, as you could guess by its name, 1900 Park Fare used to have a Victorian park theme, with carousel horses and a big organ, for example. When it reopened in 2024, much of that was stripped out of it. I'm glad the organ was kept because it's a genuine historic artifact, but the theming has become a bit incoherent. This carousel organ just sits alongside some portraits of characters making wishes. Paintings alone do not create a themed environment. This lack of a memorable setting compared to all the other meals, it holds this restaurant back in the rankings.
And thematic issues also plague the next entry, Crystal Palace. Now this building is absolutely beautiful, and it does incorporate its Pooh Picnic theme into the decor, including big banners and even topiaries. But there is an odd contrast between the opulent, fancy setting and the very, very simple nature of the 100-acre woods. These two elements, they just don't feel like they quite fit together. This is another buffet, and though it is smaller, it does have some decent food options. You do get to meet Eeyore and Piglet, two characters that are not available elsewhere on a normal park day. This restaurant was also the only meal that had a dedicated attendant come around with each of the characters, which we thought made the whole experience a lot easier and more enjoyable, so kudos to the staff here. But the bonus parade is unfortunately lacking, and keeps this one in the lower rankings on our list. There is again no participation by kids, and you actually only get to see half of the characters because they pair up and do one side of the room without coming over to the other side. You will get to meet them all, but you may not get to see your favorite on parade.
So now let's turn the page to Cape May Cafe.
This location gets credit for being one of the cheapest character meal options while still being a lot of fun. Some will consider the downside that you cannot meet Mickey Mouse here, but Goofy and Donald are always good for a laugh, and kids will love getting the chance to share their best dance moves with Minnie and Daisy. The characters do have swim outfits on, and the restaurant has some interesting old-timey beach decor, But while good theming can transport you to another time and place, Cape May never quite pulls off feeling like you actually had a beach party rather than just at a restaurant with beach stuff on the wall.
The buffet doesn't take much inspiration from the setting. That lack of an immersive experience, combined with those average breakfast offerings, keeps Cape May down on the bottom half of the list.
But speaking of an immersive experience, next up on the list is Akershus. This restaurant is located at the Norway Pavilion in Epcot. And indeed, you can take a deep dive into Norwegian culture, dining inside a building designed to resemble an actual Norwegian castle, eating food inspired by authentic Norwegian recipes, and likely having a server from the region that can explain the history and traditions behind it all. We loved this cultural experience, and Tim and I personally would place Akershus much higher among our list of favorites. I'm basically obsessed with this meal. Every single time I try something, I think, oh, this is my new favorite thing, and then I try the next thing, and I'm like, this is my favorite thing. A top 3 character meal for us, for sure. But we do have to consider the kiddos, and our preschool-aged children likely don't appreciate exploring foreign customs quite as much as we do. But kids will enjoy that 5 different princesses come to your table here. Quite a good value for a character meal. The princesses will also do a promenade here as the bonus activity, though considering that you can see them all make special individual entrances anyway, seeing them do it all at once just isn't that special.
But what is special is the chance to dine inside Cinderella's castle.
And this places the other big princess character meal ahead on the next spot. Cinderella's royal table also provides the opportunity to meet 5 princesses, plus adds more fun by being the only character meal where your kids also receive a free toy. Add in other touches like a wishing star souvenir and crayons to color an activity sheet, and you will find kids will get a lot out of this experience. All that does come at a cost though, as this is the most expensive character meal. In fact, while breakfast is the cheaper meal at all character meal locations, the breakfast at Cinderella's royal table is still more expensive than dinner at every other restaurant on this list. And that's for a menu item, rather than the full buffets you can get elsewhere. This gets worse when you consider that one of the princesses, Cinderella herself, does not come to your table, but rather you have to wait in a line to meet her. Waiting in line to meet characters is the exact thing that character meals are meant to avoid, but here you are doing it at your expensive meal. And even worse, is that a PhotoPass photographer will take your picture with Cinderella, but the cost of that photo is not included in the meal price. To be fair, you can ask that your own device be used to take the picture, so you do not have to pay. But it is still kind of crazy that for a family of 4, you just paid $300 for a single meal, and they'll still nickel and diming you for photos on your way out the door. Combine that with the fact that the second floor view out of the castle, it honestly isn't that great, and there's a good chance you won't be seated near the window anyway. To get the full view, you have to walk over and stare past other people at their table. The princesses will do their own wish-making ceremony here, but it isn't as fun as at Park Fair. You just hold up your star and some lights flash.
Dining inside the castle is a bucket list item that many Disney families, they feel they just have to do.
Yeah, we understand. We also felt like we had to.
And there are some souvenirs here that give you some bang for your buck. But ultimately, Disney's most expensive character meal is not its best character meal.
But now we are to the top 5, and at number 5 is Topolino's Terrace. Here you will get a fantastic view, and it doesn't matter where you are seated, because there is a terrace that you are free to go out on to really see the full picture and try to spot some of those Disney World landmarks on the horizon. One of the things you will clearly see is the Skyliner, and getting to ride it to the resort is just another bonus that we definitely recommend for your kiddos. Inside the restaurant, you will meet Mickey and friends in cute artist outfits, and you get to see them dance along to a great song. Bello, bello. I can't stop singing it. The art theming continues in some of the food presentations, such as the bread service in a paint bucket, or Fiona's waffle dippers that were served on a painter's palette. We love to see attention to detail like this. Unfortunately, the restaurant itself does not offer a character meal at dinner. It just becomes a fancy Mediterranean restaurant. and so the fun theming is lacking in the overall decor. And for a meal all about art, there actually isn't much art on display. And the worst part is, you may recall that at Cinderella's royal table, we mentioned that crayons are provided for the kids' menu. Out of the 3 character meal restaurants where you order off of a menu, Topolino's is the only one that doesn't give kids a fun menu in crayons. And the theme is art. Mickey here is all about coloring things, and yet the kids don't get anything to color. Make it make sense, Mickey. We've seen pictures of a themed kids menu when Topolino's first opened, and it had activities and coloring, and it's just gone. Where did it go? They really need to bring it back.
And we need to go back to the next restaurant on our list because we had such fun there. Number 4 is Chef Mickey's.
This isn't the cheapest character meal, but it is still one of the better values for your money. You get to meet 5 characters, you don't need a park ticket to come here, and the contemporary resort is easily accessible. You can take a bus there, you can take a boat, you could walk from Magic Kingdom, or you can take the monorail, and that monorail is going to drive right through the restaurant. Our son Ian loves vehicles of all kinds, and seeing the monorail drive overhead over and over, it made this location amazing for him. You might think a train driving through the restaurant would make it terribly noisy, but the monorail is actually pretty quiet. We did not find this character meal to be much louder than most others. The characters at Chef Mickey's wear charming chef outfits. They dance to a great song. You can see Goofy here getting inspired by it. He's just really giving 110%. Look at him. This song gets you fired up. Chef Mickey's, it's just a guaranteed good time for your kids.
I've had the best time ever.
And the buffet is quite large, even having 2 kids sections. Honestly, the only complaint here might be that the decor isn't all that great. It's really just the characters themselves that sell the theme. But then again, you do get this random dinner plate photo op too.
And if you've seen our Chef Mickey's review video, you know just how inspirational that photo op can be.
And now 3rd place goes to Storybook Dining at Artist Point. This location makes the top 3 by being the best themed meal on the list. At Artist Point, they have taken great care to incorporate every single aspect of the presentation into the overall setting and story. This is a character meal where you feel like that Disney magic is still alive and well. And it is made extra special by featuring rare characters that you can't meet elsewhere, and adding extra touches for little ones like a kid's menu to color and their own themed appetizer. One of our only complaints is that the characters dancing to the silly song, while amusing to watch, it doesn't offer the same level of interactivity that kids can get elsewhere, and your enjoyment of it may vary depending on where you are seated. Like Cinderella's royal table, this is also a location where one of the characters will not come to your table. Though it is more understandable here, as some little ones might be intimidated by meeting the evil queen. Or should we just say, the queen? Some parents might be intimidated by the fact that yes, they are again not going to include that PhotoPass photo in the high price of the meal that you just paid for.
Now for 2nd place, the silver medal, Hollywood and Vine.
Character meals should first and foremost be a lot of fun, and breakfast at Hollywood and Vine is where our kids had the most fun. This is basically a Disney Junior dance party where your kid can get one-on-one time with some of their favorite characters. The kids were dancing, the parents were dancing, the cast members were dancing. Everyone had a blast here, and there was even a bonus photo op to remember it all by. And not only was it fun, but when it comes to the food, Hollywood and Vine was our favorite breakfast of any location. Breakfast character meals can often be a bit plain with their offerings, but the chefs here have done a good job of getting more creative with their buffet options. Now, we did not have dinner here, but we must mention that the character lineup changes for that meal to Minnie and Friends. This diversity in lineup here is another positive, and furthermore, the outfits that Minnie and Friends have actually change with the seasons. Other restaurants should take notes on how great it is to get that kind of character variety out of just one location. Our only complaint is that the breakfast characters do not change too. Considering that you can meet all these characters elsewhere in the park, it would be nice to swap some of them out for some more Disney Junior characters, both old and new. Another weakness of this meal is that while the old Hollywood decor of Hollywood and Vine is awesome, The Disney Junior characters, they do feel a bit out of place here, so it does get some lower marks for theming.
So let's break this down. In third place, we had a restaurant with amazing theming. And in second place, we had a restaurant that was just tons of fun.
So in first place, the very best character meal in all of Disney World combines both of these elements, and that restaurant is Tusker House. Tusker House is themed like you are preparing to go on a safari, and being located in Animal Kingdom, maybe you are. The buffet itself is incorporated into this story, made to look like an open-air African market where you can gather some food before heading into safari orientation. The attention to detail in this restaurant is incredible, and you could spend quite a bit of time just taking it all in. The characters are also dressed for the safari. They dance to a great song that I guarantee you will get stuck in your head. Kids can have fun joining in and clapping along. We can't guarantee your experience will be the same, but we went in the early afternoon when it wasn't busy and had a ridiculous amount of character interactions. They came to our table literally more than a dozen times. The food is also on theme, featuring cuisine from all over Africa, and we loved exploring new items that we had never tried before. But care has also been taken to not go to the extremes with flavors, so that even picky eaters are going to find things that they enjoy. And as you might expect, the kids section will also have some safe options for most people. When we made this video, we made a pros and cons list for every single restaurant. And honestly, we had trouble even thinking of cons for Tusker House. The theming is excellent, the character experience is a lot of fun, and the food is fantastic. Tusker House is everything you want a character meal to be.
We hope that this video gave you everything you need to know to make a decision for your family's next Disney adventure. If you did find this video helpful, help us out by hitting that subscribe button. In the comments below, let us know your family's favorite character meal memories and experiences.
Bye.